Hello guys, welcome to this new series of videos in which we are going to learn about a very powerful and very cool library called Dash. Now Dash is a library which is built on top of Flask, which is yet another library for building web applications with Python. But Dash is more focused towards building data science and machine learning applications, and with the help of Dash there are various things that a data scientist is not supposed to usually a data scientist is not familiar with web based frameworks like Flask. So what Dash has done is they have created this library, and they have made it really easy for someone who is not coming from a web based environment, web based background, can quickly get started with this particular library and make very powerful dashboards and web-based applications, and also machine learning powered applications. So in this series of videos I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know about this Dash framework. So I hope you are excited to join me in this particular adventure. And before I proceed ahead, I would like to request you that if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. On my channel I constantly post content related to data science and machine learning, and also how we can build beautiful applications using Python. Okay, so I hope you are excited. So let us get started. So right now I am on the Dash website, and on this website you can clearly see this is a most powerful framework for building ML and data science apps. Now this is actually open sourced, but if you want to like get more features, then you can obviously purchase their enterprise version, which obviously will have some advanced features. But for our case, this feature which comes by default when you do pip install dash, which is quite sufficient for our case. So let us get started. So first of all I would like to show you how you can install this. So there are lots of things that you can do with Dash. You can use Dash for building very basic web applications. Now in fact I would not say it's not very basic, but in fact you can make very advanced web applications also. And you can also embed your machine learning products in your web applications to create a kind of user interface where your users can use your machine learning models. And you can also kind of make a dashboard where you are kind of letting user explore your data. So sometimes what the users can do is they can using some drop down or inputs, they can change some values, and they can quickly see the effect of that change in the form of change in the graph. So those type of applications we can make using Dash. Okay, so other than that, yeah, so I think that would be it for now. But first of all, what I would like to do is I would like to first of all show you how you can install this Dash framework. Obviously for that what I need to do is I need to go to the Dash user guide. So Dash user guide, I will go to Dash user guide, and here they have clearly shown every steps. Okay, how you can install the Dash framework. So part 1 installation, and using this step which is called pip install Dash. Now you don't have to specify this 1.13.2. Obviously the pip will smartly install the latest version of Dash. Okay, so let's quickly run this particular command on our command prompt. So I'll do pip install Dash. So if I hit enter, most probably it is already installed on my system, and you can clearly see requirement already satisfied. Okay, so once we have done we are done installing the Dash framework, the next step is to actually make something with Dash. So before we actually make something with Dash, I would like to first of all tell you about a little bit about backend and front end. From the name itself, it should be quite self-explanatory that backend is something which happens in the backend, which is clearly not shown to the user, whereas front end is something that is shown to the user. Say for example, if I see this web page, so whatever I am able to see on this web page will be a part of front end. Like if you hover over these products and if you click on these products, I can see this toggle appears, and I can go to this get demo and it changes its color. So all of these things are part of the front end. Okay, now there are, like, if I click this particular button, okay, so something will happen. Now here it did not change anything because it was also a part of front end. But for example, consider an example where I am inputting some data and I am hitting submit and I am sending that data back to somewhere. Like usually users do not bother themselves to think about where does that data go. So if you are curious to know, then I would tell you that that data goes to the backend, and that backend is sitting somewhere in the server. Okay, now server is another computer. You do not have to get confused as to what exactly is server. Server is yet another computer where this website is being hosted. Okay, wherever this website is hosted, so there might be some sort of server, there might be some sort of computer which is hosting this website 24 hours, so that from any part of the world we can access this website at any point of time. Okay, so that is why companies invest a separate amount of money on dedicated servers which runs continuously 24 hours, 24/7. Okay, so that was the difference between backend, front end and servers. Okay, now once you understand this backend, front end and server, now I would like to tell you that once we make web applications, we need a way to run our web applications. Okay, now we can run our web applications on our local machine. Now what do we mean by local machine? So when I am running my web application on my laptop, then I am saying that I am running my my web application on local machine. Okay, and that local machine is also known as a local server. Whereas I can also host my web applications to some other server. In that case, I will say I am hosting my web application to some remote server. Okay, so this is the difference between these two things. And now let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a folder on the desktop where I'm gonna store all the files which I'm going to make in this particular series of videos, and obviously I will include every files in the description so that you can get access to all the files. So I'll say dash tutorial YouTube. Okay, so yeah, so dash tutorial YouTube. In this particular folder, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a terminal, and in this terminal I'm going to enter code dot, and it is going to open Visual Studio Code for me. Okay, and in the Visual Studio Code I can write my code. Okay, all right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first of all get rid of these unnecessary tabs, and I'm going to make a folder for this video. So video first. Okay, and I'm gonna make a file in this particular folder, and I'm gonna call this particular file as app.py. Okay, so let's build something with dash, and the first thing that I want to build in this video is a very simple application which just displays hello world to the screen. Okay, so I want to make this application which just prints hello world to the screen. So how can I do that? So first of all, see, if you are familiar with HTML before, if you are familiar with CSS and HTML, and if you are not familiar, do not worry about what are these things represent. But right now you just need to understand that these two technologies are the technologies of web. Okay, and if you do not know, just don't worry about it. Okay, as I'm going to take each of these things in step by step. Okay, so Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to import dash. First of all, I'm going to import dash. All right, so once I have imported dash, what I need to do is I need to make my app, okay, my app variable. And to make this my app variable, I'm going to call a method, or rather a class, from this dash library called dash with D as capital. And in this dash I need to pass the name of the file that I am currently in. So once I have made my app, I need a way to run this application. So if I say if name is equal to main, then I'm going to do my app dot run server. Now notice here that earlier I discussed with you that there is this thing called server. Okay, now server is a very fancy way of saying a dedicated computer which is serving your website. Okay, now since I am making a not Flask but a dash application, I need a way to host this server. Okay, so where am I hosting this server? I'm hosting this server, I'm going to be hosting this server on my local machine. So the moment I'm going to run this app.py file, it is going to create a local server on my computer, and it is going to point me to a local address, and you are going to see how all those things plays out. But right now just understand that this is a function myapp.run server. All right, so now if I run this particular file at this point of time, okay, I've made a mistake. Okay, so yeah, so if I run this particular file at this point of time, let us see what does this gives us. Okay, so if I run this particular file, so notice here. All right, so what it has done is it is saying that running on this particular URL. Now this URL is a temporary URL and it is a local URL, which what I can do is I can copy this URL and I can make a new tab and I can paste this URL. So if I hit enter, notice here what it is saying. It is saying that internal server error. Now why is this giving us this error? Because by default this dash apps needs to have something to show here, but we did not specify that when a user is going to visit this URL, what are we going to see here on this web page. So that is why it is saying that we are not able to see this layout thing. Yeah, so layout was none because we did not set the layout. And what does layout mean? Layout is a fancy way of saying what are how your components will be displayed on this web page. Okay, so I hope you are getting everything that I have discussed till now. So to do that, when you install dash, there are some other libraries also which gets installed automatically, so you do not need to worry about installing those libraries separately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import dash HTML components. What I'm saying is dash HTML components as HTML. So usually they are imported as HTML. That is why I'm keeping myself consistent with the convention. So usually they are imported as HTML. So why am I doing this? So the reason that I'm doing this is what I can do is I can do my app dot layout. So with my app dot layout, now I need to set the layout of my application. So whatever my application is, I need to set the layout of that application. How can I set the layout of our application? And that is why I asked you before that if you guys are familiar with this HTML language, then you will feel a little bit more comfortable understanding these things that which I'm about to tell you. But still, if you are not familiar, you will be able to catch up as we move along the videos. Okay, so first of all, understand that this HTML is a language of web. Everything that is, in fact, this internal server error that it is saying is, it is also a part of HTML. And how can you check this? You can right click and you can go to inspect. When I go to inspect, all these things are part of HTML, and these are made up of HTML tags. Do not worry about all of those things, because in dash terminologies there is nothing known as tags. Everything is a class. Okay, so if I need to make something like this, I just need to call class called h1. H1 stands for header 1. All of these things will make sense as you progress through these set of videos. So what I need to do is I need to make a division. And what does division means? Division is a logical set of blocks, or rather I should say is a block which holds your application. Okay, so I'll say html.div, and this div is holding all the logical blocks that your application might have. Okay, now this div will take a list. Okay, and in fact this list is nothing but children of this div. Okay, so I'm going to say I am having this division. Inside that division I'm going to have some childrens, and what does those children represent? Those childrens can be anything. I can make one more div inside a children, but I obviously I do not want to do that. I want to do something like html.h1. now what does this h1 represent? H1 is a way of making headers, and 1 stands for topmost header. If I do 2, then the default size of this particular header will be smaller than h1. So this is the only difference between html.h1 and html.h2. so I'm going to stick with html.h1, and what I'm going to do is, so each class inside this HTML package, sub package, is having this children attribute. Inside this I can also specify children, but I do not need to. What I can do is I can say something like, now I can say hello world. Okay, all right. So now I have just created the layout of my application. Obviously the applications that you would want to build in Dash would be much more advanced and sophisticated. Like you would want to embed your machine learning applications. You might be interested in maybe exploring some of your data sets via some graphs using a dashboard. So those things obviously we are going to be learning as we move along, but we are going to be starting with a very simple application which just prints this hello world on the screen. So I'm gonna save this application, and I'm gonna break this application here. Now you might be wondering that the server is still running, why I have to break this application? The reason is that every time I make a change I need to break the server so that the next time I run this particular file again, the new changes can be applied. If you do not want this behavior, what you can do is you can specify debug is equal to true. In this way what you can do is your changes, you do not need to break the server each time you make a change. Your changes will be automatically detected, and you do not need to break the server again and again. So I'm gonna break this server right now by doing Control-C. So as you can see, the server has been broken, and now what I can do is I can run the Python file once again. So let me hit enter, and notice this has again started running. So now what we can do is we can again go to the link, and we have already opened this link here, and notice here now we are seeing this hello world. Okay, now we are not seeing that internal server error, and we are also seeing this this small symbol which is a symbol of dash, and we can obviously get rid of these things, but we are going to be learning that as we move along. And also you will notice here that the default title of this web page is also dash. We can also change this also. We are going to be learning as we move along, and we can also change this default image also. Okay, so for this video I'm going to stop right here, because I think whatever I have discussed in this particular video was sufficient, and I hope you will join me in the next video also, where I'm going to be talking about some more concepts in this dash HTML components, and how we can, like, there are lots of things that we are going to be learning, how we can interact with our web applications in the form of inputs, and how can we add Plotly graphs, and Plotly we are going to be talking about as we move along. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, please give it a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Okay, thank you for watching the video. Have a nice day.